welcome to Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month After Party Day 10. Yes, if you missed last month's special, I did live stream every single day throughout July for Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month, which was celebrating our asexuality across the diverse spectrum and our differences within it. So today I want to talk to you about waiting better is better than being hi Martin. Today I want to talk to you about it's better to wait than to be sorry. Hi Michael, nice to see you. Thanks for coming on. I know it's a little bit late for you, so thank you. I've been really busy today, by the way. I took over the UK Asexuality support group on Facebook a little while ago because I had no admin anymore. So I think you both live in the UK. Martin's just been added to that one. I've changed it into not just an asexuality support group for the UK asexuals anymore, but it's also an asexual dating group now as well, which I spoke in there before and I asked them what what you want from this group, what you like, what you dislike about it. I was thinking, suggested it going to be an asexual UK dating group, and someone said they thought it already was, so now it's called Asexual Dating UK. And I'm trying to remember because I've only just done it. I think it's called it's really bad, isn't it? Asexual Dating UK and Asexuality UK, Asexuality Support UK group. I think that's what it's called. Because it was called Asexuality Support UK, and now I've added the Asexual Dating UK and Asexuality Support UK. So I've put the two together, but I've made it clear that it's a dating group now because I think we're lacking a dating group. Now, I was in the other asexual dating group a long time ago, but I'm not going to mention any names about the person who runs that. But let's just say they've set up a group, then they get rid of the group, they set up the group again, get rid of the group, and it goes on and on and on like this for one of the asexual UK groups. And it's not, sadly, I've not been in there very much. And anyway, I thought I'd take the bull by the horn. I saw it as an opportunity because no one was admin there anymore, and that's a shame for all UK asexuals that are not getting that support anymore. Of course they can post in it, but it's a bit different when you've got the support of an admin as well. So yeah, I took over that group, and me and Sam run it now. So Martin's just been added. So if you do want to come in that group as well, Michael, and you're on Facebook, you would be more than welcome to come on board, as it were. So I now run 5 asexual groups. Oh my gosh, it takes a long time. The Asexual Friends group, the Asexualise Dating with for no sex dating, the Asexualise which is asexual, grey asexual and demisexual dating. So I've got grey asexual and demisexual dating. Oh, you're not on Facebook, okay. I've got grey asexual and demisexual dating. The complete opposite end of the spectrum, no sex dating for asexuals, which is known as asexualized dating. Asexual friends, which is to make friends. Asexual business gurus and entrepreneurs, which is an ace business group. And that mostly has inspirational posts in it. And then I've took over the UK Asexuality support group. So it's like a lot going on. Plus I have other stuff that I have to do. Still changing my asexualise.com site into a shop at the moment. It is predominantly going to be a USA shop. But you can still get all my merch on Redbubble as well. It's just that I used to have a shop on there before, an Amazon sort of USA shop on there before, and it sort of the best products for asexuals. There's a lot more on the USA site. So yeah, that's what I decided to change it back into a shop. It's still got all the blog articles on there, so it doesn't matter where you live, you can still read all the blog articles. I'm going to be uploading more blog articles as I go. So there's something for everyone on that site. Anyway, to get back to today's topic, it is better to wait than to be sorry. So what do I mean by this? So I know that those of you who aren't really into relationships, this might not be able to be relatable as much, but like in the past, I've just kind of rushed into a relationship, right? An asexual relationship. I've had one asexual relationship, which was online. And I was supposed to meet the person offline. But even that, I mean, the person was pushing me to be in it and didn't turn out to be very nice in the end. So what I've learned is, you know, it's better to wait than to be sorry. So it's better to wait in terms of a relationship. I've found out that, I know it's common sense, right? But as a famous entrepreneur called Brendan Burchard would say, common sense is not always common practice. And I think sometimes we do things that go against common sense sometimes, particularly being a romantic asexual that I am, and particularly a hyper romantic. Kind of the sort of rules go out the window. I mean, even now, you know, I say I don't want to rush things. I want to build friendships first, but it is difficult for me. I have to admit it, because I'm naturally, sorry about, I think there's a bit of a lag on this video as well. Sorry about that. So I'm hyper romantic, so that means I can develop feelings really, really quickly for people, with a person, a guy, without meaning to. It just happens, you know. So I can't I can only try and manage that situation. Do you know what I mean? Try to control it as best I can, because it's something that's integral to who I am, and it kind of is like a knee-jerk reaction a lot of the time. And it is kind of difficult. I'm better than I was. Like, I try and manage it really, really well. But, you know, it just happens. I can't help it. It's like part of who I am. So kind of have to accept it and manage it rather than try and get rid of it, if you know what I mean. Because if I try and get rid of it, it's just pretty much impossible. Or if I did, I kind of feel like I'd have to change my complete mindset and then change it to being non-romantic at all. And I kind of like being romantic with myself as well, you know. I go out on self-dates, which is really good. But what I'm learning, it's better to wait for the right person to come along, which is obviously common sense, or even to wait for a while to get to know someone, even if I don't know for definite they're going to be the right person. Because I mean, it's really hard to tell, isn't it? You don't really know anyone. I mean, you know, you have to know them really over a long period of time. So I'm waiting now to like try and make a decision, like rather than just jump in head first into a relationship. I want to wait and bide my time, because in the past I have been in abusive relationships and I don't want that to happen again. And also, you know, I do tend to fall in love really easily, but I try to manage that as best I can, you know, as much as I can. I mean, I haven't had those feelings for quite a while until that recently, when that well, I've had a little bit of romance for friends going on, I have to admit that, a tiny little bit of romance, but it's not the same thing, you know. I can control that. I'm not that bothered about it. It doesn't affect me as much. It's just like, because there's no aesthetic attraction there, so it isn't a big deal. I know I can be with that person, because without aesthetic attraction, I can't kiss, and kissing is a huge deal to me. So, yeah, so that doesn't really bother me. But what bothers me is, you know, if I'm really attracted to a guy really quickly, including aesthetically and romantically, and it can happen really, really quickly for me. I know if you're not romantic, you probably won't understand this concept. It'll probably be like completely alien to you. But I found that it's better to wait than to be sorry, because obviously I don't want to get into a relationship with someone, or even, you know, even friendships can turn sour. You know, you think you know someone, and then friends can, you know, people that call you their friends can start doing things that you don't know about, and acting differently than what you first thought, especially if they mix with other people. I think a really good test of how a friend is if you meet their friends as well. Like, I've got a really good best girlfriend, right? Girlfriend, not girlfriend. I'm only into guys, right, romantically, but girlfriend. And I met her today with her girlfriend, her other best girlfriend, and we all get on so well, and it is incredible. They're not asexual, definitely not, and her other best friend is highly sexual. She's a sexual cougar. She's in, I think, her 70s, and she has young guys in their 20s has sex with them. But I don't mind her. She's such a bubbly personality, and it's just part of her lifestyle that I don't mind. It doesn't bother me that. I think it's quite funny that she can get all these guys when she's that age, and she's still good for her age, you know. And she goes out, she'll do some dancing, and she's like very, very young for her age. So you wouldn't even know that. You probably think she's about 20 years young. You probably think she's more like in her 50s. So you know, I love them both to bits. So, you know, what I'm saying is that's a really good friend, because I met her friend. She doesn't act differently around her friend. We're all friends together. And I think that's a really good thing as well, is if you are getting to know someone as a friend, you know, wait to see how good they are with you. See if they contact you back. See if they want you in their life. See if it's just you doing all the work, or if they actually do some work as well, you know. Friendship's a two-way thing. Like, years ago, I had friends that weren't really my friends. It was me doing all the work. I mean, what's the point in that? You may as well go and talk to the post on the wall. Do you know what I mean? What's the point? So it's really important to get good quality people in, and I'm trying to not rush into things as much. So I've had, it's difficult because obviously I've had that guy that came into my life on YouTube, Ronald, and we're still in contact a little bit, but it's been really difficult for him and for me because we're both hyper romantics and both felt instant attraction for each other. So that's been really difficult. And that's unfortunate that he lives in another country and it's just the way things are. But I don't know him. You see, I don't know him. I wouldn't do an LDR with someone I don't, long distance relationship with someone I don't know. Now, maybe before in the past, maybe I'll be more persuaded. But I mean, my heartstrings pull. I've got to admit, they pull all the time thinking, oh, what if, what if? But I'm like, Sandra, be sensible. It's over 2.5 years. You could meet, an asexual guy could come into your life who you can get to know really, really well and be with because you like, love and trust him. I've noticed that I can't really trust, people who come into my life quickly now. I can't totally trust them, which is understandable. I shouldn't be giving my heart and my trust to someone totally without biding time. Having said that, I'm just gonna go against that now because Sam is my new BFF, and I met him at the last asexual meetup. So, but I did know him quite a long time ago online, I knew from my group what he was like quite a bit, but not, he's better in real life than in my group, to be honest. And so, and he's admin with me of 3 groups now. He's amazing. So I guess with him, I quite quickly trusted him. And that's very out of character for me. Probably with British guys more than foreign guys, seeing as I have this romantic attraction thing for foreign guys, which I don't really get with British guys. So with British guys, I'm more like, they've got to like earn my trust more, I guess. Because I've got nothing, no attachment there. Do you see what I mean? So it's kind of like I'm not losing anything if they don't come to fruition as a good friend or trustworthy person. Do you see what I mean? Whereas I think it's harder when I'm with foreign guys because I feel like I'm going to be losing something, like possible relationship that I can't get very easily because obviously I live in the UK and most guys that I like are abroad. And unless one comes over here, I can't be with them unless I find an asexual foreign guy in the UK, which is really, really difficult to find a suitable one. It's like virtually nearly impossible, but I won't give up. So yeah, so I'm basically erring on the side of caution. And I just wanted to say that it is better to wait to be safe than sorry. And also, if there's other asexuals who are listening to this, who are thinking about having a relationship with a sexual, for example, because they feel they can't get any asexual, just wait and find out more about that sexual person. Find out really if they can live without sex, if they say they can. Find out their character. Find out who else they're chatting to online, if you can. Find out how genuine they actually are. It's all very well this blah 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 blah, but it's no good if they actually are with you and they make you feel guilty or bad for not having sex with them. I'm saying this because I get a lot of private messages with people who talk to me about their troubles to do with their asexual relationships, and some of it involves sexuals, where they feel that they have to have sex with the person because the person's not going to give them the love and care they need, or they're in love with the sexual and the sexual wants sex, so they feel obliged to give it. And that's why I'm saying it's better to wait than to be sorry. It's better for me to wait for an asexual person to come along than have a sexual person say they can do without sex and can't. That doesn't mean to say that I'm saying never have a relationship ever with a sexual. In my personal opinion, it doesn't work. Part of me wants to say to you, yeah, don't bother, because it really doesn't work. However, there is someone in my book who's with a bisexual, and they said the lack of sex, not having sex didn't matter to them. So there obviously are a few people like that, but they're few and far between, I think. And, at the end of the day, it is up to the other person. If they say they can live without sex, if they're conning you, then that's their bad, not yours. And you shouldn't feel bad if you get with them. And then they change, they start saying, well, I want sex, because it's their prerogative. If they're an adult and they're perfectly capable of making their own decision, it's not a case of, oh, you're denying them sex. If they went into the relationship knowing that, what is not good is if an asexual hides their asexuality or doesn't tell the sexual partner, and then it comes out later on. That is not fair to the sexual person. Just like it's not fair if the sexual person says to us, oh, I can live without sex, and really they can't. And then when they're with us, they pressurize us into having it or make us feel guilty by not having it. You know, if we don't have it, it's just as bad if an asexual person covers up their asexuality and doesn't admit it. They should admit it from the beginning. If the sexual person chooses not to be with them then because they need sex and the asexual cannot do the sex, you know, if they're sex repulsed, for example, then that's only fair to the sexual person, and it's better to know that early on in the relationship. You know, it's better to know that early on. I'm not saying that you have to go around telling every single person that you're asexual, every single sexual person you come into contact with, but I'm saying if it's going towards a relationship, then you have to have some sort of discussion surrounding the fact that you don't like sex, even if you don't want to use the word asexual, you know? There has to be at some point you say, well, if we do get together in a relationship, then just to let you know, I don't like sex, it's not my thing. And if that doesn't suit the sexual, then there's no point in going any further, is it? Because it's just going to hurt you both. It's better to wait for the right person or a better person for you to come along. And I think that's so important. I just really do. I don't know what your thoughts are, if you've got any questions on this. You know, I mean, I, for example, have that sexual Indian guy again message me, hi today, just hi. It's like, oh, really? Do you know what I mean? It's like, he says he can live without sex, but I honestly don't believe him. I mean, he's hardly known me 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? 2 weeks. Wow, big deal. So, I know he's known me online for a bit longer, actually. I think he's known me online since June, but actually talking to me 2 weeks, you know. There you go. So yeah, it's, you know, I just think it's better to wait than to be sorry, and it's better to wait from an abusive point of view as well. So something I haven't really spoken about on my channel for a little bit is a narcissist. A narcissist is someone who is emotionally abusive a lot of the time. They lack, so basically a narcissist is someone who on the outside might seem quite charming, a nice person, but you know, they can start being, if you say something, they can't start being unempathetic, right? They don't show any empathy to you whatsoever, narcissistic people. They can be bullies as well. They think that their ego is so big, they think that they know best and everything revolves around them. They'll say things to you that put you down and then make you feel like the reason that you're being put down is because you have done something wrong, or you don't live up to their standard, or you don't live up to such and such an expectation, or just because you're you, basically. So a narcissistic person is someone you don't really want to come into contact with. But sadly, I was talking to an entrepreneur friend today, and about 20% of the, about 20% of, sorry, I think my new charger for my iPad, it seems to not be working. So I've only just bought it. I'm going to have to take it back to the shop because it says it's low power and I've got my charger in. So I'm going to have to swap it. I think it's faulty. So this video might go off in a minute. Sorry about that. I've got it plugged in, see? Can you see the wire? But I don't think it's working. So yeah, if it goes off. But anyway, so what I want to say is even in friendships, you've got to be very careful of narcissists, because these can be people who you know as friends, and they have a way of making you feel like they've got your best interests at heart, when really they've got an ulterior motive for what they're doing. And they won't show emotion. They'll be very unempathetic, very unemotional towards you. You might have been abused, for example, in the past. You might be talking to them about your abuse. They won't sympathise with you or empathise with you. In fact, they might even side with the abuser, which is even worse. I've met one asexual narcissist like that who sided with the abuser. I'm like, excuse me? Oh, well, you've got to look at it from the abuser's point of view. I'm like, really? Don't think so, mate. So, you know, so it's better to wait as well in regards to friendships. I mean, I think you should get out. I don't think you should be scared. I think you should get out. I think you should try and make friends. But I think you should always keep in the back of your mind to reserve judgment to see whether this person is really as good as you think they are. They might turn out to be better because you might just have differences, and over time that you can sort of like unconsciously compromise, if you know what I mean. You can sort of work with each other. So sometimes someone who doesn't seem like a great friend in the beginning can become a better and better friend. So it can work the opposite, but also you can get people who you thought were your friends who can betray you. So you've got to kind of like, you know, like, it's better to wait for the right people to come along than just scratch anyone. I know I have a asexual friend, right, and he has, you know, he's had friends that have been very bad to him, but because he doesn't have many friends, he sort of clings to these people because, you know, he has some mental health issues and he finds it really difficult to get many friends. And I do get where he's coming from, because I used to be that type of person. I used to sort of like latch on or keep hold of friends because I hadn't got as many in my life, you know. And when you're in that a sort of scarcity situation, you really kind of cling to what you've got. And I do get that, you know. And if you're in that situation, you know, just know that to look for other friends as well. That's what I'd say. If you're feeling like you've got to cling on to some friends, I get you, but just try and look for some other friends as well and expand out into other areas, you know. Even if you feel like that's the best you can do now, which really isn't the case, but it might be that it feels like that right now, you need to expand your network, you know. So I just wanted to bring up all these things because some people don't know about narcissists, and they're very cunning as well, because they can disguise themselves as charming, really nice people, quite charismatic, and they can be seen as like sort of leaders and bosses, but they tend to work their way up the career ladder as well, because everyone's afraid of saying stuff to them. I used to have a narcissist in my last job. I was made redundant last year. I was glad I was redundant from the point of view of him, because I didn't have to put up with his bullying anymore. Very, very horrible. You know, I used to be cleaning my mirrors on my department. He used to tell me off for cleaning my mirrors on my own department. He's not even my boss, but he used to act like it, try and act like it. Do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. And, you know, he used to say stuff to me, and, you know, especially trying to ignore these people, get them out of your life completely. Sadly to say that, you know, sometimes you can feel a bit sorry for them as well, but, you know, they're not nice people, because in private, like, sometimes in private message they can be quite horrible, whereas publicly they can be quite nice. So it's really difficult. So yeah, I would say wait, get really good friends if you can. It's better to wait for the right person to come along for a relationship as well. And, you know, and it's better if you can to like build up friendships. And if you're looking for a relationship, I would say it's best to wait till you become really good friends with that person, till you like kind of understand the fundamentals of them. Because if you're new to relationships, for example, romantic relationships, say you're new to that, then you know, you probably don't know things like so for example, Martin, you're a demi-romantic, you probably wouldn't have so much notion of romance and how relationships work, but there tends to be this period in any sort of relationship you might be in called the honeymoon period. I don't know if you've heard of it. And it's basically the first 3 months. Everyone's sort of like, particularly in romantic relationships, everyone, you know, you're on sort of you're known as being on your best behaviour for the first 3 months. You're kind of like, people are sort of like showing off, even if they don't realise it. They're showing all their best bits off, if you know what I mean. Like, because you're trying to attract that mate, keep that mate, if you know what I mean. And you're trying all your hardest to please them all the time. And then after the 3 months go, starts coming out the true colours of the person. Like what they like, what they're not like, you know, the reality of the situation. That's why you can move and live with someone, and sometimes you can do that quite quickly, but it's better to wait. I mean, I've moved in with people quite quickly in the past. I love living on my own now, because the dynamics of living together are very different to living separately. When you live with someone, you know, you're there in each other's space 24/7. You know, you might want to go out in the morning at a certain time and they're still in bed. You might want to be up till 2 in the morning, yet they want to be asleep at 10. Do you know what I mean? And then they might moan that you're going to wake them up if you're sleeping in the same bed as them. Then you might wake them up if you come to bed at 2 when they're in bed at 10. Do you see what I mean? And then you've got a conflict of lifestyle interests, and then that can start creating tension and friction, and it can start causing arguments, because you're not really being yourself, because you're trying to go to bed at early time for them, and then you're not getting what you want to do done, and they're peed off because they don't want to get disturbed in sleep later on. So therefore you either sleep in separate rooms, or you go to bed at different times and have to put up with each other being like that, which can cause obviously conflict. So it's really difficult. It's much better to wait and also if you're planning or thinking about having a relationship with someone, it's better to actually talk about it logically. So a lot of people, they tend to get together in the moment, you know. It's like, especially in romantic relationships, it's kind of like, you know, they tend to get together. I think it's not quite as, I think it's not as quite like this with asexuals. I think we do try on the whole to get to know each other better. I think the difference with heterosexual relationships, for example, is obviously the sexual attraction's woof, and then you're in it, and then it's like, oh, well, yeah, now we're incompatible. Whereas I do think asexuals do tend to use a bit more logic in their brain. I mean, when I've been on asexual dating sites, you do tend to discuss quite upfront what you like and what you dislike in a relationship. And although it might seem like it makes it harder to get a relationship, it's actually better, because if you do get a relationship in the end, it means you're going to have a much more higher compatibility, and it should last a lot longer, theoretically speaking. I mean, I'm on asexual dating sites, I've been on them for 4 years now, and we're very upfront, even in terms of physicality. Like I said on the previous video, some asexuals like touching, some don't, some are touch averse, you know. Even in platonic friendships, you know, some people will have completely different ideas of that. Some asexuals will share a bed with someone who's their platonic friend. Other asexuals won't even want to have a hug with a platonic friend. Do you see what I mean? That's two completely different mindsets. You know, these people can both be aromantic people, but both do different behaviours. It's like, how does that even work? But, you know, this is what happens. There was a YouTuber who was aromantic, and he used to like sharing bed with his friends. Do you see what I mean? But other aromantics I've known, they barely even like to hug. You're lucky if you get a hug out of them, usually. They have to really like you to get a hug out, to be hugged by you. So yeah, that's how it can be very different. So what I would say is, you know, wait. You know, in terms of me with long distance relationship, I can't do that. I realise that I need to, you know, I need to know the person really well. And besides, I want someone over here in the UK with me. It's no good to me, you know, not knowing if someone's coming over here. I don't want to waste my life and my time. You know, I know people who have done that. So if you're thinking about personally, I think if you're thinking about long distance relationship, unless a person's like going to be with you in 6 months or a year and you can pretty much guarantee they'll be over here, then I don't think it's a good idea, really. But I do know some people are having them. There's someone in my book, which I read out before, Asexual Perspectives book, and they've been having an online relationship for over 2 years. But they did meet first of all in summer camp, and they are kind of planning their lives together in the future. I personally wouldn't want to do that, but there are a few people that do make those type of relationships work. But, you know, they say that they basically, from what I picked up on the book, you know, in their answers, they pretty much know each other inside out and backwards. They're always there for each other by message, and they're very much in each other's lives constantly, just not physically. So, you know, it seems to me that they did, you know, hit it off in the beginning, and they just carried on this sort of deep friendship relationship. So I'm not saying that, you know, you can't always find those gems straight away, but I'm just saying that try and wait if you can, if you're in any doubt whatsoever, or you don't understand the person, you don't know the person well enough, you know, it's perfectly fine to wait. It's better to wait than to be sorry. You know, I know some asexuals, they rush into relationships with sexuals who promise them that they can live without sex, and then they really can't. And I just think that's such a shame for the asexual who's fallen in love with the sexual then. You know, and there's sometimes the sexuals betrayed them, you know. They've said they can live without sex. Other times, I guess maybe they just thought they couldn't because they liked the person. But that's what sexuals can do, sadly. They can say stuff because they really want to be with that person, because they desire love too. They desire, a lot of them desire romance too, not all of them. Because you can get aromantic sexuals as well as aromantic asexuals, those who lack romantic attraction. But, you know, on the whole, you know, even sexuals have the need to be connected, emotionally connected to someone, have the need to be loved. And so if they like a person a lot, they might lie about the fact they can live without sex, or they might say it thinking they can, but when they get to the practicality of, say, they move in with that person and they're feeling those sexual urges all the time that can't be fulfilled, then it might just become too much for them. Do you see what I mean? So, you know, it's better to wait and to, you know, if you have got a sexual person that says they want a relationship and they can live without sex, it's better to get to know them over a long period of time first. That's what I'm saying. To get to know how that dynamic would actually work and if you possibly think it's feasible. Having said that, you can't, you know, you're not going to know until you get in that relationship. You're not going to know for definite. So you shouldn't be so hard on yourself saying, oh, well, I'm not going to bother at all then, if you think it's a possibility. But you have to know it might not work when you get in it. And I think that's the difficulty and the danger and the sadness with being asexual and possibly liking sexuals, because if you're sex repulsed and can't have sex, then you really need that partner to be very committed to you if you want monogamy and to live without sex. And that very much depends whether they can control their sexual urges or release them in a way that's not detrimental to the relationship. So yeah, it's best to wait, gauge what this person's like or people's like if you like a poly relationship, and find out really what you want and if you think they're compatible with you. I can't even be in a relationship with someone long distance who I haven't even barely met either. I'd have to know them over a long period of time. And I think that's only right and fair, because it's just going to cause loads of arguments. I think I mentioned this before. I know a guy who was sexual, but he was with his online girlfriend for 4 or 5 years. Online relationship all that time. Messaging every day, video chatting every day for hours on end. Yet he never ended up being with her. He married someone else and got divorced. So do you see what I mean? It's just like, it's not good. So it's better to wait. And and if you do decide you just want to, you've met someone who you want to be friends with, because I have to let you know that it's good to go out and make friends. You kind of do make friends, but they're kind of like, even though they're your friends, they're kind of like more in the acquaintances friend category to begin with, then they become more and more your friend depending on how the relationship develops. So, I am all for going out and making lots of friends. I think it's good. I've got to go out and make more friends lately. I've got to go dancing more. I think it's good for me to do that, because my friends, some of my friends currently, they might not always be around, you know what I mean? So I need to make more friends. The more asexual friends I make, the better, as far as I'm concerned, because I really need more asexual friends, especially in the UK, to hang out with, because I know that there's going to be none of this sexual tensional energy, and I pretty much prefer to be around guys the majority of the time. I've got a wonderful, like I said, female best friend, and I've got a couple of other female best friends. I don't see those other ones very often at all. But so I wouldn't change them for the world. But in the majority, I have more asexual guy friends, and I have more guy friends in general. But I want to make sure that a lot of those guys are asexual, because I get, because I have more guy friends. I don't want to if I start having a lot of sexual guy friends, they won't be able to separate the sexuality a lot of the time. I have 2 sexual guy best friends. I call my best friends. One's gay, and the other one, he doesn't act like he is sexual, even though he is, if you know what I mean. So he's not into, he doesn't talk about women. He acts more asexual than I do, to be perfectly honest, in behaviour. Because he doesn't even talk about women at all. And my friend Martin, who's watching this now, he met him actually. He's a lovely guy. Yeah, he's one of my best friends in London, so I really like him a lot. But he's foreign, but he's the only foreign guy I've never been attracted to in my whole life, which is quite incredible, really. He's one of my best friends. I met him at a business conference in 2012. And so, yeah, but we stayed friends, but we only see each other about once a year, but we still stay friends because our friendship bond's very, very strong. We might phone each other up occasionally throughout the year. So yeah, but I do have a really strong friendship bond with him, so it's good. So you can make friends that last a long time when you instantly meet them. I don't want you to think that this video is about, you have to wait to make friends with everyone, because the point is, with friends, you have to just go in and try and make friends and acquaintances. You have to, because until you talk to a stranger, they're never going to be a friend with you, and everyone's a stranger until you speak to them. So I don't think you shouldn't not do that. I'm quite bubbly and energetic and extrovert, so I will go and make myself talk to people, because I think it's good for me, like I said, I need to make more friends, because a majority of my friends, they don't live in my city. This is the problem. Nearly all my friends don't live in Exeter, where I live. And that makes things quite difficult for me sometimes, because it's like, if I want to see a friend, either I've got to travel to them or they've got to come to me. And a lot of them don't even live even remotely near me. My best female friend, she does. But the asexual guy friends I've made, one is Martin, who watches this channel all the time. We met up in London for the UK Asexuality conference. We had a blast. But obviously, unless I go to London or he does again, we probably won't be meeting for quite a long time in person. And then my BFF Sam, he lives in Hertfordshire. So he came to the last asexual meet. We'll be coming to this one. My next asexual meet's on the 8th of September. We're doing virtual reality gaming. I can't wait. It's going to be so exciting. There's only a small group of us though, but it's better for VR gaming because there's just two headsets basically for multiplayer game. The other one's a car game. So we only have 2 people at one time. So there's going to be 4 of us. I'm going to meet Levi, who watches this channel a lot. And he lives in Oxford. So he's coming down. Like, he's a friend of mine online. I met him at the UK Asexuality conference. I actually told him he was really beautiful looking because he's foreign. But I said I don't know what type of asexual you are, and told him I was looking for a relationship with another asexual foreign guy. But so, you know, I do jump in there still. Don't get me wrong. But he said, oh no, I'm aromantic, so couldn't fulfill your romantic needs. He doesn't want a relationship. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But we've become really good friends. So I've got a really good friend now, another one. And, you know, he'll be at the asexual meetup. And the other guy, he comes from Worcester. You know, he's a really good friend. So I'll be doing gaming with 3 friends. It's going to be amazing. But it'd be nice if some of those asexual guys live nearer me, to be honest. I've got my friend Keith. He lives in the same city as me. But we're very, very opposite on a majority of things. But we do meet up as mates sometimes. Probably once every couple of months. And then I hold my meets every 2 to 3 months usually. But I'm a little bit behind on this one because of the UK Asexuality conference, so it's a little bit later. But yeah, so you know, it'll be good to see them again. But you know, I've made another friend who lives not far away from me in near Exeter. But it's like 1.5 hours for him by coach. So you know, I might start seeing him sometimes. But he's just new and he's got some issues that, you know, are in his life. So it makes it difficult for him. But he should hopefully be coming to the next meetup. So, you know, it's great. I just wish I had more friends in my city sometimes because, you know, it'd be good for me. So like, I'm gonna go out. I go out. You know, I went out dancing that one time and danced with that Indian guy. I want to go out again. Really, it's just, it does get a little bit scary sometimes being around sexuals, you know, and also being out on my own is still a bit scary for me because I've only done it once so far recently. So it is a bit scary for me, but I kind of got to push myself to do it. But I get really bad anxiety over it, especially because obviously sexual guys are there. Whereas like if I don't go, I'm like, oh, relief, you know. But it's kind of like I need to get out and about and do some stuff, you know. Otherwise I just stay in my flat the whole time doing things. Anyway, so if you've got any questions, let me know. I'm going to end this video because I think we've gone into this quite depth now. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you think of any questions after this video, please post them down below in the comments and I'll endeavour to reply either in the comments or in another video. And if you haven't subscribed already and you're watching this right now, please do so. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. I really appreciate it because then it goes up in search engine rankings. Oh, thank you, Michael. You don't have any questions. Okay. You're welcome, Martin. Thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I will see you on the next video tomorrow. Embrace your quirky and each other's. Bye. Take care.